Want to go up to the umbrella and close it. And then we want to open it again. Oh, that was so close. If it hit the ball, we could have knocked it down. Is that all this umbrella can be used for knocking the rugby ball down? Don't forget about my powers, and don't forget about my recklessness of youth. Right. Now we wait for him to jump. Now the rugby ball is in the umbrella. And now... Oh, thought bubble. Wow, I so did not see that coming. I never thought the umbrella would catch the ball. Did you see that? The tree branch, it shook a little. I think I saw it shake too. If it only shook a little more, it would knock that terrible rugby ball down. From this terrible tree! Maybe it just needs a little more weight. I'm sure we can do this. We just have to put our heads together. Everything looks good so far. We just need one more step. So, we switch to missile, and since he's already in the basketball, we switch with the tire. And the tire is enough to make the rugby ball. There, we move the ball. What do you think, missile? With the ball there, I think I can do it. In just a few seconds, you'll swap Mino with the leaf, and then from there, you can swap Mino one more time. The final moment is near. Are you ready? You bet! So now, you're going to get Missile to come down into the rugby ball. And I don't think we can get Sissel down from here, so let's see. Yeah, I think that's the best we can do. We don't really need to get Sissel down. Missile is the one we need back at the point, so... Now we literally just have to wait until the time we need. So, she pushes him into the lever. Mino gets swapped with the leaf. And Missile stops it. Okay, watch me, Sissel. Here I go. The finishing touches. You can do it, Missile. Swap Mino with that ball. Swap. I love that boing. There, how's that?
Boing.
My head has been spared. Truly, that was a try worthy of the gods. And now Mino is right where he belongs, in the trash. We did it again, didn't we? Didn't we? Now nobody has to die, except for one brave little somebody. Huh? I'm talking about you, Missile. Oh, me? I guess you're right, I'm still dead, aren't I? So now let's go back and save your life. Wait a minute. What is it? Now that I think about it, I think I want to stay dead a little longer. What? When I was alive, I couldn't even help Miss Camilla when she was in trouble. I wanted to be able to protect Miss Camilla. And to do that, I need these powers I have now. I see. Perfectly understandable. Even I wish I had powers like that. Hey, we just saved you. Don't wish your life away already. Oh, of course, you're right. Okay, Miss, I'll have it your way. But, by the way, Mr. Reckless Youth, there is a certain detective who needs that music box you found. When you get back to the present time, could you give it to her? Certainly, you have my word. Let's go back then, to the present. And so, Camilla ended up in the hands of the kidnappers. We weren't able to change that part. Lynn listened to my story without saying anything. I'm sorry, I wish there was something else I could have done. No, you did the best you could. I'm sure she's alright, after all. After all, she has me! Missile's in the leaf. Missile, are you in there? Miss Lynn, leave Miss Camilla to me. I know I don't look like much right now, but I'm sure I can help her. Missile. Eek! And Missile gets blown away.
He'll be back later, folks. Don't worry.
Darren, no spoilers.
I just said he'll be back later.
Hence, spoilers. I'm going to leave it up to Missile. It kind of looks like Missile is being left up to the wind. Ooh! I have something to give you. Stop the park from being turned into a housing site. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods. Aren't you forgetting your promise? Oh, pardon me. My apologies, this is for you. Oh. You kept the music box safe, didn't you? Thank you. Not at all, I was only doing what the Rock of the Gods would have wanted. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? He's mesmerized by my beauty. Hey, the cat's not allowed to get your tongue. Excuse me, but are you... No, it couldn't be. Have we met before? Aren't you that little girl from that time? I'll never forget it was 10 years ago in this park. 10 years ago? Are you talking about... Yes. Talk. Here in this park, the gods surely control fate. Today, 10 years ago from that day, we meet once again. If that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it? It could be just coincidence. But apparently you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about it, about what happened 10 years ago? Yes, of course, I was actually just about to do that. Rock of the Gods. What is this Rock of the Gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know it's right there in front of us? Oh, poor Missile. Missile. Oh. Wait a minute. You say G-O-D-S, but do you mean D-O-G-S? Of course not. Don't be silly. This is no time for silly word games. Or ridiculous word games, even. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument. Monument? Rock of the Gods, Tansik Park. The Rock of the Gods? There it is. The rock is buried in the ground right here. It's been there these 10 years. Ever since that day it threw down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. A miracle, So this rock you've been talking about is a meteorite? Precisely. It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it. Me? That day I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea that day would change my destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl. Eek! Now just calm down and drop that weapon. Stay back. If you come any closer, I'll shoot her. I peered out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. I knew I should do something to help, but I couldn't move. The tension was so thick it was painful. Just when I couldn't stand it any longer, that's when it happened. The sky suddenly burned bluish white. When it crashed into the ground, the meteorite gave off a shower of beautiful fragments. And then I saw it. One of those beautiful fragments pierced into the criminal's back. The judgment of the gods was brought down on the park that day. "10 years ago, the little girl that was you were saved by the Rock of the Gods. Oh my, I can't believe it. The Rock of the Gods was given the name Temsic, and still today it lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. I never knew about this Temsic. I always thought Detective Gerald was the one who saved me. You were very young then, and you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you wouldn't remember. But that's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you never heard of it, Lynn. It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I avoided the news and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it. The meteorite was named Temsic after the name of the park that it fell in, and then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning the park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day, and so I've taken up residence in this park and I'm trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods, that is my mission. I see. So instead of looking like a normal crazy guy, he actually has a legitimate purpose.
A crazy guy with a purpose. Who doesn't it?
Well, it's like the previous chapter. You know, I explained previous chapter or two ago. I explained about Emma, the purple-haired woman, the minister's wife. How, although she probably didn't do it in the best way possible, she was still right in that he was making a big mistake. Okay, she could have handled it a lot better, but still. She did what she thought was best to make him change his mind. Anyway.
Just perhaps not the best thing.
Yeah. I'm taking you with me, Miss Al. So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that, but Detective Jowd, on the other hand, there's no way he didn't know about this Temsic thing. And if he knew, and the man died, I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? The Rock of the Gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destiny of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decided to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I wanted to ask Detective Jowd. We found the music box, Detective Jowd. Good job, Lynn, I knew you would. Once everything has been resolved, I wanted you to give this to him. Him? You mean Inspector Cabanella, right? I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. Detective Jowd. Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack of doing it, you know. So he forces it open. See? He calls that a knack, more like brute strength to me. Here you are. You should find scorch marks on the grip. Scorch marks? When Camilla built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's a kind that magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears. Why would little Camilla use something like that? I don't know, maybe it's because she's a detective's daughter, not leaving any evidence behind and all that. Haha. In the case report, there was mention of some scorch marks. When it happened, Camilla was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find the scorch marks behind it on the frame too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun. In other words, it proves the contraption existed there in that room that day. And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly, some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court, and so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd, now we can finally prove that. Thank goodness.
Yay.
Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the little girl from 10 years ago. Speaking of which, we have questions for Detective Jowd about that. Talk. Cecil, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now without ever having known any of this. This is what I deserve. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened. Tonight, I come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memory. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow, I just know it. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions, in order to find out the truth about us. Fair enough, fire away. Cecil told me all about it, Detective Jowd. About the manipulator. Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister, too. Ah! Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him. Poor minister. Poor minister. Cecil, do you think that's what happened to me too? What are you talking about, Lynn? Don't tell me you were manipulated too. There is always a part of me that just couldn't believe it. The image of the one who shot me, but now I see the possibility of a new explanation. But who is it and why did they do it? Camilla's contraption. That contraption was a birthday surprise for Camilla's mother, wasn't it? That's right. Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere. No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine. Right, I know it. See, Detective Jowd? No, I'm afraid I don't see. I told Detective Jowd about it. I told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place. That's very strange indeed. A junkyard on the edge of town, I've never even heard of the place. And what's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption. You haven't? That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Detective Jowd, you must have heard this name before. Temsic. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago, you were there. So you found out about that, did you? I hear that meteorite saved little Lynn's life. That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynn that day. But in that case, I don't get it. If it's true, doesn't it mean you didn't steal away somebody's life? What are you talking about? Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person who killed the perpetrator in the park was you. What? But it was a meteorite. I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away, no question about it. It was entirely my fault. I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. And at that point, I was already a murderer. That's not true. You were trying to save me. Lynn, I'm sorry, but I don't think that was really it. Huh? On that day 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place. Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident, a suspect who was being questioned escaped. Wow, I didn't know about that. I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park. Hold it right there. I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him bad. That warning shot made him panic. And at the time, I was young and green. I was a young and green detective brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynn. It was all my fault. Detective Jowd, all I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lynn. So the man who grabbed me died that day. These last 10 years I've never forgotten his face. And then a few years after that, when my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done. I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. And tonight, I finished off my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember. The final face. The face of the man in the park that day. Wait just 1 minute. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight. It was my face. Are you telling me I was the man in the park that time? That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. The face of the man whose life I stole. Of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene. But hold on, Detective Joe. That can't be true. I just met Cecil for the first time tonight. And he died right in front of me. By the way, the name that I know the man in the park that day by isn't Cecil. What? From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy? Mr. Minister. Inspector Cabanella, where are you? Just be quiet and listen, this is our demand. Well, what? Demand? Our demand hasn't changed, the execution must be tonight. Once we've confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage. What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanella? And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted. Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. What is it, Mr. Minister? You look paler than ever. What in the world? What's going on, Inspector Cabanella? The rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fate of many people and started a chain of tragic events. It really did.
Everything was because of that rock.
Yeah. And now, even now, the chain continues to grow ever longer. Inspector Cabanella's call proved that to us. The greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Who am I? I'm even further from knowing than when I started. And that is the end of this chapter. 47 minutes.
Yay.
47 minutes. I swear.
Totally not my fault.
I swear this gets longer. It seems to get longer whenever you're around.
Totally not my fault.
Anyway, well, we've seemed to uncover a lot of things. So next time, I guess we'll be going to see what that threatening message from Inspector Cabanella is all about. So until next time, farewell, my friends, and I will see you soon.
Bye.